So I have two things for you guys today. First off is I have a new chair. It's old and it's new. New old. Or nold. Or oh. Yeah. Anyway, the second thing I want to talk to you about is Tycho Brahe. Danish Tycho Brahe was born in 1546 by the Julian calendar. That's the Roman calendar. He was born on the blustery day of December 14th, the day that Mary Stuart became Mary, Queen of Scots. And I don't think it means people named Scott, like Scott Joplin. Like Scots, like Scottish people. Woo! Tycho was stolen by his vice admiral uncle right after young Tycho's baby brother was born. At the age of 7, Tycho witnessed one of these. That would be a partial eclipse of the sun, where the moon covers part of the sun, making it turn funny colors and doing kind of funny stuff. The partial eclipse left young Tycho awed. But what awed him more was the fact that man was able to predict this very event. Tycho, who's being sent away to study law by his uncle, was, as many teenagers are, not interested in what he was supposed to be doing, but instead became quite obsessive over astronomy. On August 17, 1563, Tycho discovered that the tables of Alphonse, I don't think that's how you say it, whatever. But he discovered that Alphonsine's tables were an entire month off when Jupiter and Saturn aligned completely the wrong time the tables had predicted. After chillin' with some German amateur astronomists, Tycho convinced them to build a ginormous quadrant, which is one of these thingies. And Tycho was able to use this to make more accurate observations. Now, Mr. Brahe was very famous for his nose. Brahe, being the ultimate nerd fighter, got into an argument one day with one of his fellow students. In fact, the argument became so heated that they got into a duel. The argument was over who was better at math. Then, in 1572, a new star appeared in the sky. Tycho used his vastly superior instruments to determine that the star did not, in fact, move, meaning that it was in the eighth sphere. 3 months after his discovery, he was a celebrity all across Europe. The next few years were fairly dull, consisting of him living on an island that the Danish king gave to him to bribe him to stay in Denmark. I would've. The only truly exciting thing to happen during that was that his pet elk died after taking a stumble down some stairs, after having had too much beer. I think the moral of this story is, don't let your pet elk drink and then go downstairs. Get an elevator. Finally, in 1601, Tycho Brahe died. It was commonly thought that he died of bladder complications due to not going to the restroom during an entire dinner in Prague. Then, in 1996, his tomb was reopened, and they cut off a chunk of his hair, sent it for some testing, and discovered that he most likely died of mercury poisoning. Then, in 1996, his tomb was reopened, and they cut off a chunk of his hair, sent it for some testing, and discovered that he most likely died of mercury poisoning. Guess he spent too much time looking at the first planet. And that's a rough, and as in-depth as I'm really willing to go, video explaining who Tycho Brahe is, what he did, and why I keep making jokes about not having a nose and looking like Tycho Brahe. See you next time.